Okay. We do not have to file income tax
I'm not even hearing her right now.
until July 15th. It also defers any payments of taxes until July 15th with the exception, not with the exception, including 401 self-employed IRA contributions, SEP contributions, all of those are all deferred until July 15th. And your estimated payments are still due. So we need to make sure that you get yourself covered, but you have until July 15th. And I don't recommend that anybody pay anything any sooner than they absolutely have to, okay? As far as cash flow, the thing that I want people to know right now is you need to be conservative. And what I mean by that is you need to pay what you need to pay, but don't make any extra payments. Don't go crazy and pay off your credit cards. If you have $10,000 in cash and you have $10,000 in credit card debt, don't pay off your credit cards. Now is not the time to do that. The time to do this now is to save your money, put it in a plastic box, so to speak, and don't spend it. And then only pay the things that you need to operate. You're going to pay your utilities, your telephone. There's going to be deferrals. If you've got an SBA loan, they're allowing you to defer payments on the SBA loan. And so you just want to, when you're looking at cash flow, you want to be conservative. Don't pay anything that you don't have to pay. On the other hand, don't panic about it. I have people ask me, should I close my business? I have people ask me, should I pay off my credit cards? And right now, what you need to do as far as cash flow is a really simple formula. You need to, number one, look and see how much money you have in the bank. What is your savings account? What is your checking account? What money do you have available to you? Write that down. The next thing you need to look at is what expenses do you have that are due in the next 30 days? Write that down. What is your average monthly cost to live? Now, some people don't know this number, and now is a good time to find out. And you can do that on a simple spreadsheet. Just list everything that you buy, everything that you spend money on. And if you know exactly or close to it how much you're going to spend on a monthly basis, then you can calculate how long the money that you have in the bank is going to last. So I encourage you to do that exercise. Sorry about that. I encourage you to do that exercise on probably a weekly basis, okay? You don't need to do that every day. You don't need to freak out about it. You just need to gradually look at it once a week, once a month, and then forget about it. Don't stress over it. Don't freak out over it. Just look at it, see what it is, pay the bills you need to pay, and then the next thing you need to do is you need to get creative, okay? Now, I know we have at least one yoga person on here, and we have a psychologist on here, and those people are moving towards a video platform, which they never worked on before. And that video capability has been there and will be there in the future, and that is an asset and a tool. And now is a time to get creative about what you can offer to your customers and how you can solve their problems and make money in your world, okay? This is a time to get creative. This is a time to get enthusiastic about how you can help other people with problems that they've got right now. So maybe you do curbside pickup. Maybe you do video meetings. Maybe you do teleconferences. Maybe you do Zoom meetings. But what can you do that will serve other people? And karma is alive and well, okay? If you do things to help other people and help other people get by, then there's no reason that you can't charge them for that and make money. And this can be a profitable time for you and not an epic disaster, okay? So when you're looking at cash flow, you want to look at it once a week. You want to forget about it after that. And you want to look at how you can serve, what you can do to help, what difference you can make in the world. And you need to charge for it, okay? And when you do that, you're going to support the economy, you're going to support yourself, and you're going to feel a lot better about where you are in the world. So I don't want people to look at their cash and panic and freak out. I want you to look at it as now is a time of incredible opportunity. Okay? So it just requires some creativity at this point on how you can do things differently. Does that make sense? Anybody have any comments, questions? You can unmute yourself. You're going to, what was passed yesterday, you're going to get a $1,200 per payment person, and that phases out from, if you have $75,000 worth of income, then it starts to phase out, and it phases out completely by $99,000 worth of income. They're saying it's going to be 3 weeks. They're going to use the IRS direct deposit that they have on file. The target is to have that money paid out by April 6th. So for a joint return, it's going to be $2,400 up to $150,000 worth of income. If it's under $150,000, you're going to get the whole amount. And if it ranges up to $200,000, you will be phased out and you will not get this payment, okay? And right now it is a one-time payment. If they ever do it again, I don't know. There's also $500 per child. So there's a whole table of how much money is available. And they will send that out through the IRS. If they don't have your direct deposit information, they're going to write you a check and send you a check, which means it's going to take longer because they're going to have to mail it to us and they're going to have to process the checks, and that whole process is going to take some time. And so that is one thing that passed yesterday. And unemployment is another thing that passed yesterday. 3.3 million workers filed for unemployment last week. It is an epic number. Now, in the federal bill that passed yesterday, there is a provision for unemployment benefits of up to $600 a week. So that means if you're in Iowa, the standard is right at $400 a week. The maximum is right at $400 a week for people. And the additional $600 would mean that person would get $1,000 a week. So if you're looking at your employees, they are going to be better off if you lay them off and let them collect the $600 unemployment plus the minimum unemployment that is going to be available to them. So what you need to understand is you may have your employees make more money on unemployment than they would if you cut their hours and paid them part-time. It's better to keep 1 or 2 employees and let the others collect unemployment than it is to keep them all part-time. okay? So that's one thing that we need to be aware of. Now, the other thing that's true about this is the unemployment now applies to self-employed sole proprietorships as well as people who are fired and laid off from jobs. So you're going to qualify for unemployment as a sole proprietor. If your business dries up and you don't have clients coming in, or you have clients that go away, you still qualify for this unemployment. And if you are an S corporation and your income is not what it should be, then you should fire yourself and collect unemployment. You qualify. Okay. Now, this is not my first choice. My first choice is that you get really creative and look at how you can help people and what you can do for people to make things better and make things work for them, okay? But if financially that doesn't work, then unemployment is a good answer, and there's nothing wrong with taking it and making the best of it, okay? It's not my first choice. My first choice is that you get creative. Now, there are tax credits that are available for payroll taxes. This changed dramatically yesterday. First of all, if you have employees that are A, sick, B, caring for someone that is sick, or C, caring for children that have schools closed. Now, I have two people that applies to as employees in my business. Their schools are closed, and they have to be home to take care of those children. Now, fortunately, my entire team is now working from home. We're operating, we're taking care of what we need to take care of, and everybody's working from home. But because they are at home and I am paying them, I qualify for a tax credit of the wages that I pay them up to $10,000 a piece, okay? And that is a tax credit against payroll taxes. So what happens is instead of paying your payroll taxes that are due every month, you take a credit based upon the employee's wages. And so your payroll taxes that you will pay next month, now this starts April 1st. It starts April 1st, payroll paid after April 1st, I'm sorry. But at that point, you will pay less in. There is also the opportunity to defer Social Security taxes on the part of the employer. I don't know that I think that is such a great idea. Because you're going to have to pay it eventually anyway, and if you can afford to pay it and it doesn't cause you great financial pain, I don't know that I think deferring the payroll taxes is a great option. But it is available to us, and it is part of what can be saved. And it's a deferral of the employee's portion of the payroll tax, the employer's portion of the payroll taxes. It is not a deferment of all the payroll taxes, just the employer's portion. And they allow you have to pay 50% of them by 2021, and they have to be paid in full by 2022. So as far as payroll taxes, there's a credit that is available for payroll taxes if you have paid employees, and there is the deferment that is available. So there's a couple of different things that are going on there as far as payroll taxes. And those apply if you have employees. If you're sole proprietor, there are opportunities for credits as well. Those, I don't know how you're going to take those unless it is just included on your tax return for 2020. If they offer something in advance of that, we don't know. That's something that might come out. So that's something we need to be looking for to see if sole proprietorships are going to get a break throughout the year of the credit that is available to them. SBA loans. SBA loans, huge, huge, huge mess, okay? And yes, there are SBA loans. Yes, you need to apply for them. How long it's going to take to accomplish those loans is a very extensive question, okay? I was on a call with the director of the SBA in Iowa on Wednesday, and he said that people needed to file a Form 5 for a disaster, an economic injury disaster loan. And there are requirements for documentation that go with that. And his recommendation was that you file the Form 5 now and upload the additional documentation when you get contacted by a loan officer. I want you to have that information and get that information available, but the urgent thing is that you fill out the Form 5, and I would fill that out even if you don't feel like you need it right now. If this thing persists and goes on for indefinite time period, you may find that you need it later. And if you need it later, you're going to be much further down the queue in line to get the available funds. And the available funds, I anticipate, will be maxed out. There are 30 million small businesses in this country. And the SBA had an online application that was in place that just blew up. They couldn't handle the load. They couldn't do the processing. And if you got your application in online, I am thrilled for you, but most people are not going to be able to get it online. There is an option of filling out the paperwork and uploading it at the SBA site, and that is your best choice. Your second choice is to email it to disasterloans.sba.gov. That's disasterloans@sba.gov. That is your last that is your next to last choice. Your last choice is to take a paper form and mail it in. And I don't recommend that choice. That is not going to be a good long-term choice. There is going to be billions of dollars available. For the disaster loan, there is a collateral requirement of $25,000 for loans over $25,000. Okay, so if you are the basis for the amount of loan that you are entitled to is 6 months of operating expenses. They're going to look at your operating expenses for 2019. And if you spent $10,000 a month on operating expenses, you would qualify for $60,000 loan. Okay, that's the basic formula for the economic injury disaster loans, is 6 months of expenses. And they're going to use your previous 6 months. So you're going to need financial statements. You're going to need accounting records in order to be able to provide those numbers. And I'm hoping everyone on this call has that. If you don't have that, we can help. We can also help accumulate the information to pull this all together. So you need to fill out the Form 5 and you need to get it submitted as soon as possible. You need to have your profit and loss. You need to have 3 years tax returns, business and personal. You need to have your profit and loss. You need a personal balance sheet. Now, a balance sheet is a picture of your financial position at any one specific point in time. Your balance sheet literally changes on a daily basis based upon the financial transactions that take place. And what a balance sheet is you take your assets, that's everything you own. So 1 is money in the bank, 2 is investments, C is a car, a residence, a house, real estate, could be investment in the stock market. All of those things are assets. And then you look at your liabilities, and your liabilities are your credit card debt, your mortgage on your house, your loan on your car, and you take your assets minus your liabilities, and that gives you what your net worth is. So when they're asking for what your net worth is, it's the difference between your assets and your liabilities. And the easiest way that most people can understand this is to look at a car. Let's say you buy a car for $20,000 and you borrow $20,000. And over the course of a year, you pay off $5,000. So now you owe $15,000 on the car, and the car is worth $18,000. So you have $3,000 equity in the car. So that's what a balance sheet does. It takes your assets, compares them to your liabilities, and looks at the possibility, what your net worth is, what you have available to pay funds. Now, these SBA loans are not a gift. They're going to look at your credit score. They're going to look at your ability to pay. And when they look at ability to pay, they're going to look at your business as of February 15th. And were you in business? Were you operating? Were you making money on February 15th? They're not going to look at your income, and you don't have to prove loss of income for the SBA loans. You just have to prove that you had the expenses and that you have incurred the business disruption because of the virus, okay? Now, a traditional SBA loan it goes through the bank and it is guaranteed by the SBA. The disaster loans that we're talking about are funded directly by the SBA. They don't go through a lender bank. And it is an economic injury. So when you're filling out the paperwork, you need to check the box that says economic injury. You're going to find things on the paperwork that asks for damages, and they're looking at tornadoes and hurricanes and physical property damage, which doesn't exist in this situation. What exists is economic injury. Sorry about the dogs. Bless their hearts. They are the doorbells of the world. So that everybody qualifies in the United States for an economic injury disaster loan. You're all in a qualifying region. And so that's why I say you need to fill out a Form 5, get it submitted, and then we can worry about getting documentation after we get you in line for the Form 5. The new thing that came in yesterday is it's called a Paycheck Protection loan. Now, a Paycheck Protection loan is an SBA loan that goes through the bank, and it can be used for payroll and mortgage or rent. And it is the basis for that loan is 2.5 times your monthly payroll liability. So if you pay $20,000 in payroll, 2.5 times that is $50,000. That would be the amount of the Paycheck Protection loan that you would qualify for. Now, in order to qualify for this, you have to retain your employees, you have to pay your employees, and there is an element of to be forgiven on this particular product that they are offering. And they will forgive up to 8 weeks of payroll. But you have to use the money for payroll. It can't be used for buying inventory or buying equipment or buying anything specifically for business, okay? It has to be used for payroll. They want to see people retain their employees and keep functioning as close to normal as possible. And this was just in what was signed yesterday. So this is new. We don't have all the details. There's all kinds of gossip going on all over the internet. And it is a matter of being judicious. So that Paycheck Protection is on a bank, and it needs to go through a bank. You can qualify for both an economic injury disaster loan, which does not go through the bank, and the Paycheck Protection loan, which does go through the bank, but they can't be used for the same expenses. They've got to be used then they're for operating expenses. They are not to pay off your existing credit cards. And the requirement is that they not pay off a debt that was incurred before February 15th. So they're not a means to pay off your other credit card. The purpose of these loans is to ensure that you can operate over the next few months. Now, the problem is, are they going to get them to us fast enough to make a difference? Now, they're saying on the payroll protection loan, they're saying 2 weeks. Now, if they do that, it will be a bona fide miracle, okay? But that's what they're saying. And if it happens, I will be thankful, happy, and shocked, okay? What you need to look at today, how much money you have in the bank. There is always the warning on an airplane that you need to put your oxygen mask on yourself first. If you don't protect your business and take care of your business first, then you can't help your employees and you can't help other people. So you've got to secure your business first. So look at what money you have. I'm right back to cash flow, what we talked about at the beginning. Look at the money that you have in the bank right now. Look at what your monthly expenses are. Apply for the SBA loan. Apply for the payroll protection loan. Ideally, we want to keep people employed. We want to keep people with money coming in so that the economy can continue to grow or grow again. But you want to look at that cash, and if your cash is getting lower than it's going to provide you with enough money to live yourself, then you need to let your employees go. And with the $600 benefit that they're going to get from the government, there's odds that they're going to make more money than if you kept them on part-time. So it's in their best interest for them to go on unemployment. Now, most states are taking the position that this is not going to impact your unemployment rate if you lay people off on the basis of this particular coronavirus. So I don't think you should worry about your rate being impacted. I think you should worry about making sure that you are solvent and that you can pay your own bills. Now's not the time to get crazy and pay things off and make big investments. It's a time to be conservative and thoughtful and not panic, okay? It isn't going to do anybody any good. All of you are business owners, I'm assuming, and if you're business owners, you need a cool head and you need to be the duck with the alligators all around you, okay? That's my role, is to be that duck. And ducks let water shed right off of them. So when it rains, they're cool, all right? And that's what you need to do in this point in time. Now, I am going to do a webinar on Wednesday at noon on how to fill out these SBA forms, okay? And there are multiple forms that you have to fill out and will be required for documentation on the economic injury disaster loan. And we're going to talk about those in the webinar that I'm going to do on Wednesday. And hopefully we will have more information about the Paycheck Protection loan at that point in time. It is, once you get this information all accumulated, you'll have what you need to submit to the SBA or to your bank, either one. So I'm going to go through that in detail. I have a lot of people asking me questions and needing information, and I need to conserve my availability, and the easiest way to do these SBA loan applications is just to take a little time and work through them together with you. I'll call up the form, we'll go through what's on the form, and I am charging $97 for that call. There will be Q&A. You will get questions answered. It is, I can't do one-on-one with everyone that wants it because there's just simply not enough hours in my day to do that. And I've got other things that have to be done as well. And so I've set up a call on Wednesday, April 1st at 10 o'clock Central. And if we blow up the application for Zoom, then we will run another one, and we will run another one, and we will run another one until we don't need to run anymore, okay? But that is the way that I've concluded is the best for me to handle it, because I am repeating the same thing, and everybody's situation is a little different, and everybody's situation is the same at the same point in time. And we don't have all the answers. We just don't. And we're not going to have all the answers. So the CPAs and the accountants of the world are interpreting the laws that have been written, and the IRS has not written regulations. They have not provided guidance. They have not given us procedures. We don't know, okay? The forms aren't made out to qualify for the payroll tax credit. There is a huge area of we don't know what's going to happen. And so my job is to provide as much information as I can and make sure that I take care of my clients so that they get the best results and come out of this. I think you can come out of this ahead of where you were, because if you're creative and you expand your business, this will be a new stream of revenue for you for the rest of your business life. And so there is an opportunity here to be creative and look for the opportunity to make money going forward. And I am going to look at the chat. And you can unmute yourself if you have any questions. Okay.
She must be reading.
I'm reading the chat now. Okay, is there, okay, somebody put a link to the Facebook group in the chat. Lori, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sign up for the Facebook group. I will be posting in that group and I will be answering questions. So if there's anything that you want, if you have a question, the odds are someone else has a question too. And so you're benefiting and you're serving others. And if I don't know the answer, I will find out what the answer is, okay? And we've got my computer says that it's recording, and we should be able to post this and share it with you. If you're paying payroll taxes for someone that is teaching on a Zoom call, yes, there is a credit. And there is a credit for the total wages paid, and there is a credit for wages paid for someone who was sick or caring for someone who's sick or caring for children that are out of school.
Maddie, can I ask my question about the taxes? This is Amy.
Sure.
So you had said at the very beginning of your webinar today that we should, I think I understood you to say, we should go ahead and be filing our taxes as soon as possible, but that we don't have to pay the tax burden until July. Is
Correct.
that correct? And
That is correct.
Will there be interest accumulated?
No.
So
No.
then in order to keep, so that would be great for budgeting because we'll know in April what we're going to owe and then have 2 months, 3 months to use the money and save up and all that. Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
you
So
can
the sooner
also,
the better filing sounds like a smart idea, because then if we're going to file for the SBA loan or the payroll protection and all of that, then we have that in the hopper.
exactly.
Okay. So you recommend that for everyone, that they go ahead and file, but wait to pay till July.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. And the other thing that you can do is you can wait to pay your IRA or your self-employed pension plan contribution. Okay. So you've got another 2 months to save to do your 2019 contributions for your retirement.
Okay, great. Thank you. Is that true for state as well, or you don't really know for sure?
States vary. Most states are following the federal. Okay.
Okay.
There's a few states that have quirks, and we just have to look at them on a one-by-one basis.
Okay.
The other thing that I would encourage everyone to do is go to Google and look at grants, coronavirus, based on your state. Every state will have grants. Iowa has grants for small businesses, and they are up to $25,000. And you can apply for those grants, and most of them are a set amount of money that is available. And when the money runs out, then there's no more grants. So the sooner you file for those, the better. The paperwork that you have for your SBA loan is going to be the same paperwork that you need for the grants. And if you have grants in your state, I strongly encourage you to do a little bit of research and find out if you qualify. A lot of our clients are women, which are targeted small businesses in most communities. There are other funds available, and so you want to look at the opportunity to take advantage of any grants in your state. And that is the best thing that you can do, is Google is your friend. I remember when Google wasn't a verb. Okay. Questions? Anybody else want? I am doing a webinar on Wednesday. It will be going specifically over the form on a box by box basis,
Guess that's it, huh?
and we will
Good
go
job.
from there.
Very technical, difficult stuff to explain.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll use a Zoom meeting and I'll show the form and we'll go through it on a step-by-step basis.
Thank you, Maddie.
Understand.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you spending time on Saturday morning. If you have any questions,
I think we should appreciate you spending time on Saturday morning. You're helping us.
well, you know, and I was up till very late yesterday trying to prepare myself and find out what they passed yesterday. And
Crazy.
a matter of trying to stay informed, and they're changing on a regular basis, and so we just have to stay current to the best of our ability.
Glad they got her.
You should be.
Hey, Maddie, I have one quick question before we go. What is the process for applying for the payroll protection?
It is a bank loan, so you have to go through an SBA lender, and they will ask for a personal financial statement. They will ask for tax returns. They will ask for a profit and loss. They will ask for a balance sheet. And they will look at your payroll for the last 12 months. And they will take an average of that payroll, and 2.5 times of that payroll is going to be what you qualify in a payroll loan. Now, there is forgiveness on that loan if you maintain and pay your employees throughout the crisis. And so there is forgiveness on those payroll loans just for 8 weeks.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Unmute yourself. I'm here. I'm ready.
Hi, Maddie.
Yeah, Jamie.
Hi. Okay, so my one question, I have commission-based employees who work basically as a W-2. One of them, actually 2 of them, have children under the age of 18 that are not in school because of COVID. Is it best for me to lay them off just to file unemployment, or should I be? I mean, are they automatically going to go to the new law that passed with paying them for 12 weeks because of child?
I would have to look at your state law on unemployment.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm familiar with it because I've never had to file. No one's filed unemployment with me before. So
Yeah, and I would have to look at your state on unemployment in order to answer that. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, let me know. I'm gonna look into it as well. She's been taking a couple days off recently to watch her child, but she also has appointments booked, so she's continuing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that the credit for payroll taxes for someone that is watching their child,
Mm-hmm.
that credit on your taxes is a $1 for $1 credit. So let's say you pay her $500 a week, okay? And she is taking time off to care for children who are out of school.
Mm-hmm.
You would pay her payroll, and then you would take a credit for $500 against your payroll taxes.
Okay.
Okay? And so you would get a $1 for $1 credit against her wages on your taxes, which is an incredibly good deal.
Okay. And how is that something you can help me with? Because since she's commissioned, her paycheck's different every week.
Yeah.
You know, and that includes tips as well. So I'm assuming tips would not be included in this because it's not.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. I'll look forward to hearing from you with that. Thank you.
Um,
I have a question.
Melinda.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a client who is a business owner who is a photographer, and she has seen, obviously, she has a lot of bookings that were canceled or postponed. Do you recommend that she apply for unemployment at this point? I think she's a sole proprietor, like an LLC.
Mm-hmm. Well, she can apply for unemployment. She can also apply for an economic injury disaster loan. Okay.
Yep.
And she should apply for both.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? John Moldovan. I'm going to pick on you.
Okay.
How did you get on this call?
I work for Pamela Bruner. You don't remember me?
Okay, John. Thank you. I didn't know your last name.
No, I just found this link and I wanted to learn for free.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Okay. I just wondered how it got here, and I didn't recognize, and I also don't recognize Chuck. Is Chuck listening?
This is Wendy. Chuck is one of my clients.
Okay. Thanks, Wendy.
Mm-hmm. And so is Melissa.
Okay, good. Excellent. Thank you, Wendy. I just like to know where people come from. Awesome. Well, if you have any questions, again, join the Facebook group. The link is in the chat, and I will be present in the Facebook group, and I will look at more of these as we need to do them, and we will go from there. Thank you for coming today. I appreciate your time.
Maddie,
Yes.
one more question for you. My father wants to know where to get the, what do you want? The form to fill out for unemployment for a small business in Pennsylvania. I couldn't find it.
I would have to Google that. If you want to stay on here, I'll find it for you, and I'll put it in the chat. So if you'll just hang out for a minute, is that okay?
Okay. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Pennsylvania. Any other questions?
But it said I was not eligible yesterday. So there's no form.
I'm going to stop the recording.
Hey, Maddie, are you going to send us a link for that $97 thing you're going to do on Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay.